Hey, welcome to the DBP channel. Today I have with me Carl, a handsome player who has recently won the local Evo Cup with his Jesmon GX. Now it was only appropriate that a deck profile to be led by him. Now thank you Carl for taking some time to join with me for this. I've prepared some questions at the end of the deck profile that will allow us to understand deeper what are the thought process behind the creation of this handsome deck. Now without further ado, let's have Carl here to introduce to us the Jesmon GX deck.
Hello everyone, so today I'm doing a deck profile for Jesmon GX. First, we have the Tamas, so it's Gurimon. The reason why I chose Gurimon is because of the draw power. 6k draw 1, easily you can achieve that by swinging with the level 5s and above. And you don't really need the plus 1k power from other red Tamas, so Gurimon is actually one of the best Tama in this deck. Now, second, for the rookie wise, I play 4 of the BP7 Hardmons. So this Hardmon has a very strong ESS, whereby when you swing, you get to check your top 5 cards and add all the system mons to your hand. So this prevents breaking in a situation whereby you might not have any system mons on your hand, and the ability to add maybe 3 or even 4 system mons from the top 5 card to your hand is actually very valuable. Alright, and then the second rookie will be of course the BT6 Hardmon. So the BT6 Hardmon is actually a very powerful searcher. Again, on play effect, open 5 and you get to add Hardmon in name, Systemon or Jesmon itself. So this will allows you to search for all the level 4s, level 5, level 6 as well as system mons in your hand. So it will help you to prevent breaking, and it's a very powerful searcher. Now, the third rookie that I play is actually a starter deck, Hardmon. I only play 1 copy because there's another rookie that I have to play in this meta. And this Hardmon itself, the ESS is not that strong, plus 1k DP, but the effect itself is that when you play a system mon, you get to gain 1 memory. So this will help you to gain memory control when you are swinging with your Jesmon, and this Hardmon is actually on the field. Now, the last rookie that I'm playing will be 3 Solar Mons. So as you all know, BT10 is a meta that is actually a lot of hard play, on play effect, such as Blue Flare, Cross Cut, Dark Knight. So this is very essential in this meta. Of course, why there are people asking why I didn't play 4 Solar Mons instead of just 3. One of the reasons is because of the Hardmon searcher earlier on. To prevent breaking, sometimes I need to search additional level 3s in my hand as well. So that's the reason why I'm playing 3 copies instead of 4.
Okay, so let's move on to the champions.
Alright, for the champions it's quite straightforward. ST12 Bao Hardmon. So this is actually searchable with the Hardmons as well as some of the system mons that I'm going to play later on. And the ESS is pretty straightforward, plus 1k DP. Now, the second champion that I'm playing is actually the BT6 Bao Hardmon. So I think this Bao Hardmon is actually much more valuable. The reason is because of the ESS. When you swing, if you have a system mon in play, you get to actually bomb 1 5k and below. So right now in this meta, there's a lot of blockers that is actually 5k and below. Things like Ballista Mon, or certain things like even those memory blockers such as Gazimon or Solar Mon, Side Mon, they are all 5k and below. So it's an easier way for you to clear the blockers as well as clear the memory blockers as well.
So do you still run any more champions aside from these 8?
No, I only play 8 champions in this deck.
Okay, so I do have a question. So why do you not play the ST Greymons or other level 4s? So is this 8 Hardmons enough?
Alright. Sometimes, of course, when the hand is not smooth and your searcher is not in your hand, you may encounter breaking situation. But the reason why I did not play the ST Greymon that plus 1 more security check is actually because of Venus Mon. So as you all know, Venus Mon has an effect whereby if you have a security modifier, you will not be able to swing at the Venus Mon itself. So Venus Mon, if your opponent has a Venus Mon on board, it is very hard for you to achieve the combo of Jesmon GX, as all the combos and abilities are triggered on Digivolve.
Okay. Thank you so much for going through the champions. So I believe we are moving on to the ultimates of the deck, which are the level 5s.
Right. So for the ultimate level 5 itself, firstly will be the starter deck, Savior Hartmon. So the starter deck, Savior Hartmon's ESS is actually one of the strongest in this deck, whereby it allows you to play a system mon either from your hand or from your trash. So with the new option cards and system mons, which we are going to showcase later on, most of the times your resources are being thrown to the trash. So even if your system mons are being trashed, it's fine, because with this level 5 itself, you'll be able to actually call them back and still achieve their on-play effect. So this is actually one of the most important level 5 in this deck. Secondly, we have the BT6 Savior Hartmon. So this Savior Hartmon unfortunately is being restricted. That's why you can only play one copy. And it has a very strong effect whereby it allows you to restand as long as you have a system mon in play. So a lot of players, they have the misconception that the restanding ability must be either Jesmon or Royal Knight itself, but this is actually inaccurate. You just need to have a system mon on play, regardless of what is your level 6, you will still be able to restand. So in this meta itself, the only time that I will go into this is when I'm facing decks like Security Control or Yellow Hybrids, because you need multiple swings in one turn to actually end them. But if you are playing against things like Rookie Rush or even Cross Heart itself, it will be better for you to go into the starter deck Jesmon, because it allows you to call blockers, which is system mons. And lastly, I play one more copy of Chimera Mon. So this Chimera Mon is pretty straightforward because of Jesmon's and the level 5's ability to call system mons, and system mons are actually level 4. So which makes them a perfect combination for progress into Chimera Mon. And Chimera Mon itself during progress have an effect whereby you can slot in a level 5 and below for their ESS. So for some of the time whereby you do not have a level 5 and is being trashed due to hits from securities or from your searches itself, you can use Chimera Mon to progress 2 system mons, and you can slot in either a ST Jesmon or a BT6 Jesmon, Savior Hartmon, and even the level 4 Bao Hartmon into the ESS, which will allow you to continue your play as long as you didn't break it. So I think Chimera Mon is very important, and the reason why I didn't play more copies of it is because I decided to play other options, which I will showcase later on.
Okay, thank you so much for the comprehensive level 5. So now let's move on to the level 6 of the deck, which is definitely the handsome portion of it, which is the Jesmon X.
Alright, firstly for the level 6 itself, I play the starter deck Jesmon. So this starter deck Jesmon has an effect on Bliss, whereby you can still swing even though the memory has been passed over to the opponent. So this is very important, as sometimes you need that swing to call out system mons to block for your next turn. And on my deck, I didn't play any tamers at all. So Bliss Jesmon allows me to have a more controlled feel. So I can swing either suspended Digimons or their security to actually put more pressure on the opponent. The second level 6 that I play is actually the Jesmon X Antibody. So Jesmon X Antibody is one of the core cards in this deck, whereby on Digivolve, you get to play a system mon either from trash or from your hand, and all of your Digimon gets plus 2k and the ability to attack active Digimon. So this is one of the counter card to Venus Mon when you are playing against Yellow Hybrid, because if you build out a line from Hartmon, Bao Hartmon, Savior Hartmon, and Jesmon X Antibody, you do not have actually any security modifier if the Venus Mon is not played on that turn. So you are able to actually clear that Venus Mon easily, because with the plus 2k, your Jesmon is actually 13k compared to a Venus Mon of 12k itself. So how you actually choose which to Digivolve is actually based on your opponent and what other Digimons are on the field. And lastly, the 2 other level 6 I play is actually Ganku X. So Ganku X has a very interesting ability whereby on Digivolve it does the same thing as Jesmon X Antibody. What it does is also gain plus 2k to all your Digimon, but the second effect is actually what makes this a very good card. So what happens is that on Digivolve, all your Digimons get plus 2k, and the ability to not be minus DP by any effects by your opponent for their next turn. So this simply means that things like Sunrise Blasters, right, will not be able to actually be used to actually remove what you have on the field. And this is actually very important whether you are facing yellow hybrids or cross hearts itself during this meta.
Okay, thank you so much for the level 6. So I believe now we are moving on to the cover card of the deck, which is the Jesmon GX.
Yes. So in this deck, I play 3 copies of Jesmon GX. And this Jesmon GX, I'm sure most of the Digimon players already know. When you Digivolve, you are able to actually slot in a Royal Knight of 13 costs and below from either your hand or trash and activate its on Digivolving ability. So for the 2 level 6 that are usually used with this combo will be the Jesmon X Antibody as well as the Ganku X Antibody, whereby you are able to abuse the effect of their on Digivolving skills, and then you can spawn Systemons to the board and not get minus DP, and it can attack active Digimon as well. Furthermore, Jesmon GX itself has the ability of piercing, blocker, and gaining security check +1 for each Royal Knight index. So Jesmon GX, a lot of people have this misconception that it's a OTK deck, means 1 turn kill deck, but it's actually more working towards a 2 turn kill deck. So how is it like is that when you go to Jesmon GX, you protect all your Digimon by slotting in Ganku X Antibody either from your hand or from the trash, and then all of your Digimon gain that +2k effect and cannot be minus DP. So this puts a lot of pressure on the opponent's board, and they are unable to actually remove you because right now most of the popular cards are like Cohen, Sunrise Blaster. So if your Systemons have that +2k itself, then they are usually 7k and above. So Cohen will not be able to do anything, and Sunrise Blaster will not be able to minus DP, or even things like Dorurumon from the Cross Heart deck itself.
Okay, thank you so much. So I believe now we are going to go through the Systemons, which are also the core of the deck.
So for Systemon itself, firstly I play the 2 BT6 Systemon. So this is actually a blocker, which is very essential in this deck, in this meta, because we face a lot of rush deck, a lot of pressure from Blue Flare, Cross Heart. So the blocker ability allows you to actually protect your field and protect your life as well. Second one that I play will be the Systemon from BT6 as well. So this Systemon has the ability of +1 memory on play, as well as 2000 to all your Royal Knight or Heartmon in name. So this is very important for memory control, because Jesmon GX itself, when you are Digivolving, you usually pay a lot of memory, up to 5. Alright, but if you call this Systemon back, it allows you to gain back that 1 memory, which sometimes may be very crucial. So the third Systemon that I play will be the new Systemon from BT10. This Systemon still has a very interesting effect, whereby on play, you are able to Digivolve one of your Digimon to a Royal Knight itself. So when you are Digivolving to Jesmon X Antibody, and if you call this Systemon out, you can immediately go to Jesmon GX and you have that 3 check swings in that 1 turn. Of course, the memory paid will be very a lot. But if you play well and manage it well itself, you can still gain back that 1 memory from the Systemon from BT6. And on this Systemon, when you Digivolve into a Royal Knight, you gain back 1 memory as well. And the last Systemon that I play will be actually, the second last Systemon that I play will be actually the Systemon from the starter deck. So this is one of the very important Systemon as well, because it has 2 abilities. First, on play, it gets a searcher ability whereby it can search for Royal Knights, Heartmons in name. And then by discarding the rest and choosing one, it is actually very good as a searcher. So it's a free searcher when you are swinging it with Jesmon or the Savior Heartmon ESS. The second ability is actually the reboot ability given to all Royal Knights. So Jesmon GX, Ganku X are all blockers. So when you swing with your Digimon, right, the next turn, with this Systemon on play, you are able to actually reboot them, thus providing you a very huge blocker, sometimes even up to 20k. Now, the last Systemon that I play will be another starter deck System 1. And this System 1 effect itself is on play, you draw 2 and discard 1. And the ability of this is it provides decoy to all Royal Knights that is black or red in color. So even though right now you don't see spells like Gaia Force or like Ganku Punch itself, but you sometimes just needed that certain level of protection. Alright, with her on the board you feel a little bit safer, that prevents on deletion effect because you can decoy it to her.
May I also confirm that there's such a ruling whereby if there's this system on with the decoy ability on the field, and then if opponent just go for co-end play, you can actually protect your solar mons with just one system on. Is that correct?
Yes, it is actually correct. So to protect your Solarmon itself is actually this system one will help you to protect your Solarmon, which is actually very crucial because once you swarm the board, there's only 2 things that you are afraid of. Number 1 will be Jesmon from BC9, and number 2 will be actually the Cohen, because you 6k and below will be destroyed and you are unable to spawn system ones on your next turn as well.
Okay, thank you so much to go through all the system ones in your deck, and I believe you play almost all of them that are available in the game. So let's move on to the options and the tamers, which will summarize all the deck.
So for my deck, I do not play any tamers, but for options wise, I play actually from Master to Disciple. That is a new option card from Starter Deck 12. This Master to Disciple allows you to open 3 cards and you can add 1 Hardmon in name, Systemon or Royal Knights, and you discard the rest. So this is actually a very low cost search power, and that's the reason why I play 3 copies. The second effect is that it's actually working like a memory boost. So the next time that you actually use the delay effect, you reduce your Digivolution cost by 1. So things like Jesmon will not be able to prevent this because you are not gaining memory, but you are reducing the cost for Digimon. Now, the second option that I play is actually the Red Memory Boost. So Red Memory Boost is pretty straightforward. You get open 4 cards, you get to search a red color card, and then the delay option you gain 2 memory. So some of you may be wondering why I didn't play more Red Memory Boost itself. One of the reasons is because of the Savior Hardmon's ESS as well as the Jesmon GX Digivolution skills. Most of the time you would rather your resources to be trashed than going down to the bottom deck. So with Red Memory Boost, there are chances 3 of the 4 resources that you actually need badly will be actually reduced, returned to the bottom deck itself. So that's the reason why I just play 1 copy. Of course, number 1 is for the memory gain, number 2 is for the search power. Lastly, these 2 option cards that I play is actually because of my experiences at the Evo Cup. So meeting security control was a shock for me during my 3rd Evo Cup. That's why I decided to play this 2 option. Number 1 is actually a dedicated type. So this option allows me to swing safely into opponent's security without the fear of meeting things like Chaos Degrade, Sunrise Blaster if I do not have the Ganku X protection, or any other option cards that will disrupt my plans. And the second one will be actually this Emergency Program Hot. So this, I think this card is actually one of the most undervalued and underappreciated card in this current meta. As you all know, Jesmon has the ability to flood the board, and there are only multiple ways to actually clear off the board, things like Cohen, Jesmon. So if you have a Solarmon on board, to prevent your board from being cleared, you can play this as a safety net for that turn, and this will ensure that next turn itself you will get the win, because they are unable to actually deal with your board of maybe 3 to 4 Systemons, 1 Jesmon GX, and a rookie that are going to push out from nursery. So these are very, very important. And one good thing about this emergency program is that if they check this into during their turn, the security effect still triggers. They are unable to use any option cards for that turn, and you get to add this card to your hand. So effectively you can block them off 2 turns for not using any option cards.
Okay, thank you Carl for actually going through all the deck and giving us all your thoughts behind the deck building of it. Now I'll ask you some questions. So the first question will be, why do you choose Jesmon GX as your deck for a high-risk tournament such as the local Evo Cup, whereby you have to win all 5 rounds to actually get the Digimon?
Alright, there's actually 2 reasons behind this. Number 1 is a more logical reason, whereby I personally feel that with the effects of Jesmon GX, Ganku X, the system mons itself, you are effectively neutralizing a lot of threats from the top 2 most popular decks in this meta, which is the Cross Heart and the Yellow Hybrid. So for Cross Heart itself, the ability to spawn blockers to actually protect you from being swung at is actually very important, and you are easily deleting their blockers, their Ballista Mon from the level 4 Powerhouse Mons effect. And the only way of removing you will be actually Sunrise Blaster, which doesn't do much if you have actually Ganku X Digivolving effects that's protecting all your Digimon, especially the main one like Jesmon GX. Now, for Yellow Hybrid, their current remover are also Sunrise Blaster because they don't really play other removers as well. And even the most popular remover last time, which is the Wyvern's Breath, will not do a thing if you are Digivolving in the right way, meaning using Ganku X, because they still cannot minus your DP. So this is the first reason I feel that Jesmon is actually quite comfortable in this meta. And the second reason will be a slightly more childish reason, I would say. Personally, I like Jesmon since BT6, and I would really like to bring Jesmon to glory. So I start with my decision to play Jesmon for all 4 of my Evo Cups that I've attended. I'm really glad that I managed to win the last one.
What are some matchups, right, you were actually afraid of facing?
Okay, I think the number 1 matchup that I'm most afraid of is actually Grandis, because Grandis has the ability to suspend all your blockers from their level 5 and their level 6, and this causes a lot of trouble because even though you can swarm your board with all the system mons, but you can't do anything if they are being suspended. So that was one of the most uncomfortable matchup that I have in my Evo Cup. The rest itself, I would say, is pretty alright, because throughout the experience that I have in the first 3 Evo Cups, more or less I've gained the experience of how to deal with other decks.
Okay, thank you so much. So the next question will be, what are your thoughts about the current BT10 meta and whether the upcoming EX03 set will actually make any impact?
Alright, currently the meta goes towards a very fast-paced deck, and a lot of times opponents just need to have the resources in their hands instead of on the field. So I think that's one of the major differences between the previous BTs and these current BTs itself, because last time to flood the board you at least have to have the resources on the field to put pressure on the opponent. But right now, in this meta, all you need to see is the hand size. If the hand size is large, you are already feeling very pressurized because all the resources, more or less, will already be in their hand. So the upcoming EX3 meta, I think, is a very exciting one, with things like Examon, Imperial Dramon with a new color, red and purple, and even the Trial of the 4 Dragons looks pretty interesting. And I personally think it fits well in the fast-paced meta because for the Imperial Dramon especially, you can go to level 6 with 3 checks in maybe turn 2 or turn 3 if you play it very well. So I think it suits in the fast-paced meta itself. And for Examon wise, I believe it will put a lot of pressure on the current meta decks like Cross Heart as well, because the ability of forcing people to swing at you without any preparation, and it has a lot of blockers in the deck. So I would say it fits well in the new meta, but I have not really tested it out yet, so I will not be like 100% certain. But I think it's going to be more fun than the current BT10 meta.
Okay, I do have one last question. So this is a fun question rather. So if you have the power to actually edit one thing on the current ban list, what would that be?
For this itself, I've given it a lot of thought, and I decided that if I really want to have the power to actually change something on the ban list, I'll probably ban Mighty Kudo, or at least restrict it to prevent the abusement of Cross Heart in this meta. Because to be honest, this 1 month I've been practicing and playing very hard for the Evo Cups that I'm playing at, and it is very jaded to be playing against the same deck over and over again. And to be honest, cross hard deck itself is very straightforward, and it's hard to guard against if they have the correct cards in their hand. So this is selfish of me because I don't play cross hard, but I would like to ban my Kudo if that's possible.
Okay, but I mean, to be fair, they are receiving more support in BT11, so who knows, who knows how they will actually answer the ban list. So thank you once again, Carl, for actually joining with me today for the Jesmon GX deck profile. And thank you guys for watching till the end, and do consider subscribing, dropping a like and a comment if you guys enjoy the content.